They say freedom is priceless, but in private aviation, it starts at around $5 million. These jets may not have gold sinks or bedrooms, but they offer something even more valuable: time, privacy, and total control over how you travel. Today, we're breaking down why owning a $5 million jet isn't just a luxury. It's a lifestyle upgrade that pays for itself in more ways than one. Let's start with what $5 million actually gets you in today's market. You're looking at aircraft like the Cessna Citation CJ3 Plus, the Embraer Phenom 300, or a well-maintained older Hawker 900 XP. These aren't your weekend warrior toys. They're legitimate business tools that happen to have wings. The Citation CJ3 Plus is probably the poster child for this price range. This thing cruises at 460 miles per hour and can fly nearly 2,000 miles without stopping for fuel. That means you can leave New York and be in Denver for lunch, or hop from Miami to Chicago without even thinking about it. The cabin fits up to 9 people, though 8 is more realistic if you want everyone to actually be comfortable. But here's where it gets interesting. And this is something most people completely miss when they look at private jet ownership. The real value isn't in the luxury. It's in the mathematics of time and opportunity. Let's break this down with some real numbers. Say you're a business owner who travels twice a month for deals, meetings, or operations. On commercial airlines, that trip from New York to Chicago isn't just the 3-hour flight. You're looking at getting to the airport 2 hours early. The flight itself delays that average 30 minutes in the current system. Then ground transportation on the other end. You're easily burning 7 to 8 hours of your day, and that's if everything goes perfectly. With your own jet, you drive directly to the aircraft, walk on board, and you're wheels up in 15 minutes. The flight takes 2.5 hours instead of 3 because you're flying direct at optimal altitudes. You land at a smaller airport that's probably closer to where you actually need to be. Total time, 3.5 hours, maybe 4 if you're being generous. That's a 4-hour time savings on every single trip. If your time is worth even $200 an hour, which is conservative for someone who can afford a $5 million jet, you just saved $800 in opportunity cost on one flight. 24 trips per year, and you're looking at $19,200 in time savings annually. And we haven't even talked about the deals you can close, the relationships you can build, or the stress you avoid. The Embraer Phenom 300 takes this value proposition and cranks it up another notch. This aircraft was designed from the ground up to be a business tool. It cruises at 530 miles per hour. That's seriously fast for this class of aircraft. The range stretches to over 2,000 miles, which opens up routes that simply aren't possible with smaller jets. But here's what really sets the Phenom apart: the cabin technology. We're talking about a flying conference room with high-speed internet, multiple power outlets, and a cabin management system that would make a tech startup jealous. You can literally run board meetings at 40,000 feet, review confidential documents without worrying about shoulder surfers, and arrive at your destination more prepared than your competition, who spent the same time crammed into coach. By the way, we now have a full Spanish version of this channel. Same jets, same luxury, now in Spanish. If you speak Spanish or know someone who does, this is for you. Check the pinned comment to subscribe. Stick around until the end to see the one aircraft feature that's so advanced, it's literally changing how deals get done in the air. Something that's making early adopters millions while their competitors are still figuring out airport Wi-Fi. Now, let's talk about the Hawker 900 XP, because this is where things get really interesting from a value perspective. These aircraft originally sold for well over $10 million when they were new, but you can find excellent examples today for around $5 million. You're getting flagship-level performance at a fraction of the original price. The Hawker brings something unique to the table: space. The cabin is genuinely large enough that you don't feel like you're traveling in a flying torpedo. 6 feet of headroom, legitimate legroom, and a baggage compartment that can handle real luggage, not just overnight bags. This is the kind of aircraft where you can bring your entire team work effectively during the flight, and arrive looking like you just stepped out of a luxury hotel instead of crawling out of an airline seat. But the real magic happens when you start looking at operational costs versus commercial aviation alternatives. Yes, operating a $5 million jet isn't cheap. You're looking at roughly $2,000 to $3,000 per flight hour, depending on the specific aircraft and how you structure your operation. Fuel, maintenance, insurance, and crew. It all adds up. Here's the thing though. If you're flying commercial first class for your team of 4 or 5 people, you're already spending $1,500 to $2,000 per person each way on popular business routes. That's $6,000 to $10,000 for a round trip for your team. Your private jet does the same trip for about the same money, but you control the schedule, the routing, and the experience. The Citation CJ3 Plus burns about 200 gallons of fuel per hour. At current jet fuel prices, that's roughly $1,200 per hour just in fuel. Add in maintenance reserves, insurance, and other operating costs, and you're at that $2,000 to $3,000 range per hour we mentioned earlier. But here's what the airlines won't tell you. Their hidden costs are enormous. Flight delays cost businesses over $33 billion annually in lost productivity. Missed connections, canceled flights, and the general unreliability of commercial aviation has become a massive drag on business efficiency. When you own your own aircraft, weather delays still happen, but mechanical issues become someone else's problem to solve immediately. Your maintenance is predictable and scheduled. Your departure time is exactly when you want to leave, not when some schedule says you should want to leave. Let's talk about depreciation, because this is where the $5 million price point becomes really smart. Aircraft in this range have already taken their major depreciation hit. A new Citation CJ3 Plus lists for over $9 million. A 5-year-old example might sell for $6.5 million. A 10-year-old aircraft in excellent condition? $5 million or less. The depreciation curve flattens dramatically after the first few years, especially if you maintain the aircraft properly. Well-maintained aircraft in this class often hold their value remarkably well, particularly if you're not flying them into the ground with excessive hours. Here's something most people don't consider: the financing advantages. Banks and specialty lenders understand aircraft values in this range. You can typically finance 70 to 80% of the purchase price at competitive rates. The tax advantages, particularly if you're using the aircraft for business more than 50% of the time, can be substantial. Depreciation schedules, interest deductions, and operational expense write-offs can make the effective cost significantly lower than the sticker price suggests. The real secret sauce is in the flexibility. Your $5 million jet doesn't just compete with commercial first class. It competes with not traveling at all. How many deals have you passed on because the travel logistics were too complicated? How many opportunities slip by because you can't get there and back efficiently? With your own aircraft, same-day round trips become routine. You can be in 3 cities in one day if your business requires it. You can chase time zones to extend your working day. You can bring your entire team to close a deal, then have everyone back home for dinner. The maintenance philosophy at this price point is sophisticated enough to be reliable, but not so complex that you need a dedicated maintenance staff. Most owners operate these aircraft under Part 135 management companies that handle all the scheduling, maintenance, crew, and regulatory compliance. You get the benefits of ownership without the operational headaches. That advanced feature I mentioned earlier, it's integrated SATCOM systems that provide internet speeds comparable to your ground-based office. We're talking about real bandwidth video conferencing capability and secure connections that allow you to handle sensitive business communications at altitude. Early adopters are literally closing deals during flights, while their competitors are still trying to connect to airport Wi-Fi to check email. The $5 million private jet isn't just transportation, it's a force multiplier for everything else you do. It's the difference between being reactive to travel schedules and being in complete control of your time. It's the difference between arriving exhausted and arriving energized. It's the difference between hoping the airlines don't screw up your critical business trip and knowing that your success depends only on your preparation and execution. If you enjoyed this glimpse into the world of ultimate luxury, a like and a subscription would mean the world. And for those who dream of flying in style, click right here to watch our video on the 8 best private jets under $15 million. See you in the skies.